Let's talk some sports, baby.
And remember, make tomorrow better than today and make today better than yesterday. And you know what we gonna do. We gonna holler at you until next time, baby.
Well, fellas, it is time for everyone's favorite thing, which is, of course, top 10 lists. ESPN.com released their top players before the start of the 2021 NBA season. LeBron's going to lead the pack at number 1 with teammate Anthony Davis at number 2. Giannis, Luka, and Kawhi round up the top 5 in that order. Then Kevin Durant, Damian Lillard, Steph Curry, James Harden, and the Joker line up 6 through 10. So pretty simple, Jay. What do you think of the list, and did they get it right?
I'll tell you the first thing they didn't get right, putting this thing on ESPN Plus, acting like this is exclusive material. I'm pretty sure this is the first time they done that. They can go ahead and piss off with that. But you know what? Actually, as far as the list go, let's go ahead and get into it. Listen, I understand that LeBron and Anthony Davis, they come the best duo. I think it's fair to say. I think it's pretty clear. This is the best duo smoking right now in the NBA. I think Anthony Davis absolutely, legitimize, his.
She agreed too.
Yeah, right. I think he submitted like his place in the NBA. Obviously you got the questions of what did you really accomplish with the Pelicans? You come over to the Lakers and there's some questions on how good can you be? Can you perform when it really counts? He absolutely did that. But I think to have when you have a back-to-back reigning MVP in the Greek Freak and you slide him at 3, I think that's a little disrespectful. I would have Giannis at 2. And I would probably slide AD back a bit. I'd probably put him at 5. I think when you look at Luka and Kawhi, I think I agree with that one. I think when you project Luka, when you look at from his rookie year to his second year, I think that jump was it was something to behold. I think the playoff performance against the Clippers in the first round, even though he came up short, I think it's something to behold. I think it's something we could see Luka perform and meet that expectation as the 4th best player in the league. Just tighten up that deep, maybe improve a little bit on the defensive end. But he can absolutely put a team on his back. I mean, you think about even when Kristaps Porzingis is out, they're still dangerous and they still are capable. He can carry you. He's a guy who can come out there and put up a monster triple-double, not one of them little 10, 11, 10 specials. No, he's hitting you with the 40, 15, and 15. But of course Kawhi could definitely overtake him. I mean, it's not something that's a done deal. You look down the list. I mean, I think KD's probably an interesting one, and that you probably struggle to probably place him given I think what we don't know and don't know how good he's gonna come back off an Achilles injury. I think that's a little unknown, but I think 6 is about right. I'm a little unsure about what the Damian Lillard stuff is. I think having him above Steph and James Harden, I think that's a little bit much. I don't get quite the fascination with Damian Lillard. I think just the whole come to the bubble and overtake the depleted Memphis Grizzlies. I mean, that was real cute, but I mean we saw what happened in the playoffs. You just got your butt kicked, and quite soundly, I might add. Well, of course they got that game 1 win, but we knew that was an aberration. But I would even Jokic, consider even though I don't think we quite saw it would happen. I mean, got to give them credit. They overcome 2 3-1 deficits against the Jazz and the Clippers. So, I mean, you could slide Lillard back a ways, in my opinion, given what he hasn't done. I mean, given the fact that they fell from the Western Conference Finals to just barely making the playoffs. I wouldn't be mad if you slid Damian Lillard back a good ways. I don't know if I'd give too much of a rip if he fell out the top 10. But you go on down the list, you think of guys that can maybe crack into the top 10. I think Jason Tatum, he's right on the outside looking in. Given what we saw in the second half of last season, I think there's some. I think we could see him maybe take another step forward. Maybe get into that MVP conversation. I don't know if he can win it, but maybe he continues to take those steps in his development. I think it's certainly plausible. I think Jimmy Butler at 12. I think that's I think that's probably about right. Of course, I think he gets a big boost, from the leadership and the intangibles and the overall effect he has on his team. I think him and Bam right together. That's pretty interesting to see them that close together. How about Bam Adebayo over Joel Embiid? I don't know. That says a lot about Bam Adebayo. You go on down the list. I think Zion being at 19th above the likes of Paul. I just got paid George and even Pascal Siakam, Kyrie Irving. That's those are lofty expectations. We'll see if we can meet it. And of course, I think Devin Booker, Donovan Mitchell. I think I'd probably have Donovan Mitchell over Devin Booker, but I don't think it's certainly not the worst list I've ever seen. But a few legitimate gripes. I will say there's no Russell Westbrook in the top 25. That's certainly an omission. I don't know if I'm ready to say Russell Westbrook is in the top 25 player. I would probably have Westbrook in my top 15.
So I guess a better question is, what criteria did they use to come up with this list? Because if you knew the criteria a little bit better, I think it might make a little more sense. I don't know. Are we using past metrics? Are we using present metrics? Or are we using future metrics? Because I just feel like they use whatever the hell they wanted to in this.
I think what they're doing is they're trying to project who's going to be the best this season. So there's a little bit of a future lean to it. Not 100%, but there is a little bit of a future lean, I think is what they're trying to say.
I think this is a projection, but I mean, in the end, I still think it does beg a question like, well, how do you project that Zion's gonna be better than all these dudes? How are you really projecting that Damian Lillard is gonna be better than Steph Curry and James Harden?
Right.
I still think those are fair questions.
Right. So my thing is, listen, I go with the proven commodity. And so let's start with the top 5. You're damn right they got it right with LeBron James. I've been beating that drum. You're absolutely right they got it right with LeBron James. But I guess they took the rest of the time off after they got LeBron James. They was like, all right, we'll take the layup with LeBron James and we'll mail in the rest of it. No. Anthony Davis ain't no second best player. I like Anthony Davis. I'm a fan of Anthony Davis. Listen, this ain't it. This ain't it. All right, this ain't it. Anthony Davis, he might fall in between 6 and 10, but listen, like Jay said, I'm going LeBron, Giannis number 2. I'm not happy about the Luka being number 4. Once again, I go with proven commodity. Luka was very impressive last year in the bubble. Now, why would I take a player that was impressive last year in the bubble and put him in front of players that have shown me that they can make it happen under more hostile circumstances? 1, Kawhi Leonard. 1, Kevin Durant. What are we doing here? If you want to say we're penalizing Kevin Durant because he didn't play last year. This is why the criteria matters for me. This is why the criteria matters. Because all of a sudden now Luka is better than KD? Or Luka has a brighter forecast than Kawhi Leonard? Why? Because he had a good bubble run? Because he played, he had an almost MVP season? I'm not feeling it. So my top 5 probably most likely will be LeBron, Giannis. I will move Kawhi to 3rd. I will move Kevin Durant to 4th. Because I do think Kevin Durant is a top 5 player. I don't know what's going on here. And then my 5th player matter of fact, my 5th player probably be Steph before it be Luka. Luka be like number 6 for me. Because I got to go with the commodity. I got to go with the players I've seen get it done when it matters the most. I haven't seen that out of Luka. Not saying he can't do it, but what have I seen? A bubble run? What, a possible MVP run? I'm sorry, I need to see it under regular circumstances when you got fans spitting on you and all this other mess going on, and you got to go out there and get it. And that's what I've seen out of these other cats. Now, going down to 6 through 10, I just mixed that up because I told you Durant will be in my top 5. I'm with Jay. I don't know the fascination with Damian Lillard. He's a good rapper. but he didn't play in the All-Star game because he wanted to rap his song rather than play in the All-Star game. Neither here nor there. But Damian Lillard, he'll send you home. He'll do some impressive things. Top 10, I'm sorry. And he got ESPN. Why in the you got Damian Lillard in front of James Harden, and then you got the fact to have James Harden one spot in front of Jokic. This is some disrespectful bull right here. This is disrespectful. Like, come on, man. Really? James Harden ain't did enough to not be one spot ahead of the Joker? But once again, I don't know the metrics. That's why I got to know the criteria. Like, if it's projected, maybe because he don't want to show up to count. They just don't feel like he deserves to be higher. I don't know. But that just don't make sense to me. Like, what are we talking about here? And then when we go to these other players, listen, Zion, all you got to do is show up, buddy. You in the Hall of Fame. Like, I'm so sick of this mess. Yo, every time I see Zion, he's getting more and more credibility without even doing nothing. Yo, like, you didn't even Pelicans didn't make the playoffs, but somehow he the 19th best player. And I just don't get that. I'm a firm believer in show me something. What? They got him in front of Paul George. Yeah, I lit Paul George up in the last segment. Yes, I did. But you know why? Because he has greater expectation, and he's not living up to it. Zion ain't done nothing. What's he done? Make a good run for Rookie of the Year, which he lost. But, like, what has he done? Like, gross a lot of money for the NBA. Okay, good. Hey, I guess that counts. That's a stat, too.
Single-handedly changed the playoff format. Good job, Zion.
Single-handedly, yeah, exactly.
By himself.
That's what I'm saying. This dude is getting he getting LeBron treatment already. Like, what we doing here?
I'm saying it's probably the future lean right here. Is what you're talking about.
Well, we know how that's ESPN sees it. When LeBron's out of there, you know Zion's got next. And as far as like the commercials and like every other social media post that they post is going to be Zion. Oh, Zion put on new socks today. We got to post about it. So, I mean, they obviously are well invested in the young man's success.
And so with that said, right, and that's what I'm saying, right? And then look at this, right? Let's talk about Jamal Murray. Jay, you just explained to me how Luka Doncic had this nice run in the bubble and he had this nice season and this, that, and the third. We don't feel like Jamal Murray had just an impressive bubble run as anybody?
For me, I give Luka more credit than just the bubble. I think his entire season was MVP-esque. And remember, he was an all-star game starter. Jamal Murray was kind of, I think he was my breakout player last season. But we didn't really see much from him until the playoffs. That's where I'm at with that.
Wasn't he? Wasn't Murray kind of working back from injury? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it was, but
then the regular season.
Okay, so when you put it in that totality, you're right.
Yeah, I thought Luka was impressive throughout.
Okay. I still don't like seeing him in full, but you're right. That's a point well taken. I don't want to drag this out. The fact of the matter is this, ESPN, listen to your boy. I'm coming in hot. The next time you do one of these doggone projections, can you give us a little criteria so we understand why you put certain players where you put them? Because
I have to pay for it.
Hey, well, I pay for the subscription anyway, so just charge me. But you know what I'm saying? Make some sense of this because it just doesn't, like, I'm looking at this, it doesn't make sense. The disrespect to Kevin Durant, the disrespect to James Harden, like, the disrespect to Giannis. What the hell? Why? Because AD won a title? So just bump everything I did. AD won a title, now you better, like, come on. Like, granted, I do know people hold that against Giannis, but Giannis is still a two-time MVP. Steph Curry is still a two-time MVP. Only unanimous MVP, I might add. Like, come on, man.
Doesn't it kind of fly in the face of, like, just pure logic even if LeBron and AD were, like, the two best players in the league, wouldn't it, like, make sense that the fact that they're together, like, one or the other is going to, like, take a little bit of shine off the other, you know what I'm saying? That's why it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, so in totality, it's a decent list. It gives us something to talk about. but it doesn't make a lot of sense without the criteria that they use. And I see why they put it on ESPN Plus, because they were trying to hide it from everybody. Unfortunately, people had, got a few dollars, so they spent it, and we caught them. We seen it, and now we're talking about it. So it is what it. But they got to do better, man. I just wasn't feeling some of these moves.
Yeah, these lists again, what I don't like about them is that they're so subjective. You can really, it goes back to the great old GOAT debate. Do I want stats? Well, I'm going to go with Wilt Chamberlain. Do I want rings? I'm going to go with Bill Russell. Do I want all around? Then I'm going with Michael Jordan. Do I want on and off the court? And I can go with LeBron. Like you can. Again, whatever metric you decide to use is just whatever you can make the list based around that. I think that if you're telling me best player, then I think both sides of the ball. I think leadership. I think a little bit of everything. And when I think about it, I mean, I still like LeBron at number one. I have no problem with that at all. But then again, like you just talked about, Anthony Davis. Well, how is he two if LeBron's one? I don't understand how. I know I would say Anthony Davis is solid, top five, but two, I think Giannis should be two. I think we all kind of agreed on that. Luka, if you're giving me the future projection, I'll lean to it. I like it. I mean, he had almost 29 points, 9.4 rebounds, I think 8-point-something assists per game. I mean, the guy was a do-it-all, everything. The only real big knock on Luka is that on defense he is not great, and especially in the playoffs they had to kind of like work him around and hide him a little bit. But that's the worst knock you have. I mean, Luka is going to be the dude for a while. I mean, he really is going to be a top five player, I think. So having him in the top five, I think it's a little disrespectful to Kawhi just because he didn't win the championship this year. So I guess he's trash now. Like I'm not sure what this is all about, but I would switch Luka and Kawhi. And the rest of the list, James Harden's the other big disrespect. I would probably flip him and Lillard easy. Durant, that's the hard one to peg, because you don't know if Kevin Durant comes back and he's the Kevin Durant we all know and love, well, then he could be in the top two or three. Each might be in Anthony Davis' spot. But if he's going to be 85% Kevin Durant, well, then you gotta bring him down a little bit. So I think that's what we're doing for now. I think ESPN's just basically hedging their bets and putting him at 6. Again, y'all kind of talk about Lillard a little bit too high. Curry, see how he does this season, but he's still definitely a top 10 player. And then, get on the list. These are all pretty good for the most part. I mean, Zion, if they take the bubble wrap off of him and they let the man actually play and they get some help around him, he might be a top 20 player. I mean, that he looks like he could be special too. But as of now, you're basically running off the projection that he's going to be. I mean, right now, he's next to Donovan Mitchell. Oh my God, Donovan Mitchell's done way more so far than Zion Williamson has. I mean, we just saw the best of Donovan Mitchell in this past playoff run. So there's a couple things you can knock. Right. I mean, he's over guys like Bradley Beal. I mean, even Bradley Beal, you can argue, if he's just about best player. I mean, he's a better player than Zion today. But again, if you're leaning into the future, I can see that. So yeah, overall, again, these are fun, and you get to you can kind of talk about however you want. But nothing egregious. But yeah, there's a few they could have probably done better with on this.